There's never been a more exciting time to be part of the specialty coffee community. The answer comes down to these three pillars: innovation, refinement, and adaptation.
Shall we start?
Awesome.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you? How are you?
Good. I'm good. Yeah. I guess it's my passion for coffee. Ever since I started in coffee and specialty coffee, I've always been looking to develop myself and learn and become better. So that's sort of why I got into competition. So I wanted to learn more, and I found that by competing that was the vehicle that I was using to, spend all this extra time learning and showcasing on stage. So that's sort of why I started. And I guess sort of like growing as a barista, like innovation and refining is the things that I like doing as a barista. So finding new innovations like, cryodesiccation and, vibrating and working with other people that are doing these innovations, like Matt Perger with the auto comb. These things sort of excite me. And I guess as a barista, we need to evolve with these things. So, it's cool to be, I guess, part of that journey and, being able to take these innovations, refining them further, and then adapting my skill set to these things. I guess we're seeing in a lot of cafes now, there's things like Uber Milk, Auto Tamp, all these things. These are innovations that have come, and as baristas, we have to adapt to these things. And I think it's only making the barista better because we're getting more consistency. But by using these tools, it's important that we keep developing ourselves and understanding the principles of why these things are important as well, not losing touch with that. So, yeah. I think sort of, competing, like I said before, that was a big thing that helped me. And though I'm in Melbourne, I got access to all these cool coffees and roasteries. Like when I compete, I'm just in the training room for 6 months and I'm not outside, So I'm in Melbourne, but I could be anywhere. So I think it's just about time and dedication. And I guess that's sort of what pushes me along. It's hard work, but also to get inspired. I think connecting to the WBC and barista competitions is a great way to sort of get inspired, and we can learn from other people's innovations and refine on that, and keep adapting. So I think that's one way. Also, just going to lots of coffee events. So here in Melbourne, when I'm not training, trying to connect with like-minded people. Which, again, I'm very lucky in Melbourne to have so many people around.
Yeah, like mice and everything.
Exactly.
And Sub-Zero coffee.
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing. But I think if you can find like-minded people, that definitely helps sort of like spur each other on and help you innovate. Like, I'm so lucky to have people like Anthony and Matt Perger and Matt Crowley as our head roaster. Like, I'm very privileged to have these people around, but I think it's just about building your own circle of coffee professionals and bouncing ideas off each other. I guess that's what excites me. So, I love finding new things in coffee. And sometimes I get to find them, or sometimes it's other people's innovations that we get to play with and, hopefully refine and make better and add to. So, I think there's all different ways or reasons why you would want to compete. But for me, I love showing people something new or discovering something. So that's sort of my passion, and that's why I compete. So if there's something I can grasp onto and then showcase. So I guess that's sort of where it has grown from, that concept.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I developed the milk with Anthony last year. So that was sort of like something I was going to use regardless of the coffee that I was going to choose as well.
Oh, okay.
I found it worked good with any coffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason I chose Obbligon is like quite simple, and I thought it was the best tasting coffee I could serve the judges, or the best scoring coffee. So yeah, I would have tried hundreds of different coffees together with Anthony with his year, and then plus the additional coffees that we tried after Anthony's competition. So all up there would have been hundreds.
Wow.
So I just thought Ombligon was the best tasting coffee. So that was all what it was down to, but it did fit my concept quite well. It was a new varietal. And then we've got someone like Nestor who's very innovative. He's always refining his skills. So it tied in perfectly. So I was very lucky.
Yeah.
So that's literally the reason I chose it. I did have a few like other options that I was considering. There was a few copies from Gesher Village that were lovely. Didn't quite fit my concept as well. And there was some Panama geishas that I was trying as well. But in the end, I thought Ombligon would score the best because I just found the flavors in that coffee are very direct. And if we give it to 5 people, we sort of get similar tasting notes. Some of these more complex coffees, if you share it with 5 people, people taste different things. So, and the goal is for me is to get 4 judges to agree what it tastes like.
So more consistency upon 4 sensor judges. Okay.
But I think in saying that, the rules have changed a little bit now. So before it used to be, you would have to hit those flavor notes that you gave. But now there's a little bit more leniency. So I feel like some of these more delicate coffees might be coming through. But still, I'm super happy with my Ombligon choice, and I'm so happy I served it.
Yeah, as long as you're being accurate upon the taste descriptions, and then you can score higher. So you already had Ombligon during Anthony, or just for yours?
Exactly, just for mine.
Oh wow, so lucky.
Yeah, sorry. It came. Obviously, we got familiar with Nestor with Anthony, so he was obviously someone we reached out to when I was competing to have a look at some of his samples, and hence that's sort of the reason we found it. But yeah, it was just the best coffee, so that's how we sort of came about.
Is there any other reason, external vision?
No, like I literally think that is like the only reason. I mean, number one goal is to serve the best coffee you can, and that's the coffee that I thought would do that.
And then luckily he is also the like-minded people, Nestor, working.
My routine would have looked a little bit different if I didn't choose this coffee, I think.
Of course.
But yeah, it was just lucky that it fit in so well with my concept. My favorite part?
Yeah.
Try like just tasting coffee. Like that is literally my favorite thing. And if I do something to make it taste better, that makes my day, I'm sure you would have seen the vibrating table I was using as part of my routine. When I discovered that would make the coffee taste better. I was super stoked with that.
That 110, just 1.
It's all these little things. It's like, this makes it better. This makes it better. But I mean, that's what I'm in the training room to do, to make this espresso taste as good as I can make it taste. But also sharing the journey with my team. That was like super important to me. So with Anthony, Matt, Dave, and my partner Gabby, like that's something that I cherish a lot. Being able to do it with these guys. So that was another highlight. Yeah, it's tricky being so far away in Australia as well, right? But yeah, we're a little bit limited because our roaster, Matt, he left a little bit earlier to Greece.
Okay.
So the best I wanted to serve it a little earlier, but I had to serve it around 10 days old on the finals. So it was slightly challenging, but I'm still happy with how it tasted on finals day. Like it was, as good as I've tried it. So the age I thought was spot on. But we tried a few things. So Anthony, being the world champion, is flying around the world now. I actually sent some coffee with him, and I packaged it different ways, sent it with him overseas, and then he brought it back for me. And then I had some controls in Australia, so we cupped them all, and we were sort of determining what traveled the best. So I think we tried 10, 12 different methods. But in the end, I placed argon gas in my bag. So if you're unfamiliar with what argon is, it's an inert gas that's quite heavy. It's much heavier than oxygen and carbon dioxide. Makes up, I think, 1% of the atmosphere or just under. So it sort of creates like a protective layer on the coffee. So as well as doing that, I sealed the one-way valve. And that's how I transported it over. And then once I landed, took the tape off the one-way valve, and that's how I stored it. So I found that worked best.
Argon gas is a replacement where people usually use nitro flush.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's slightly heavier than nitrogen.
All right.
Yeah. I thought I do think they both have a really positive impact on coffee. But just for me, like from my testing, I found that argon does create a better sort of protective barrier. Good question. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, obviously processing's changing a lot in coffee, right? We've seen it over the last 3 or 4 years. And I think that's only going to continue. Colombia's sort of really like championed that as well. So yeah, I think in other origins, I think we're going to see a lot of that, which is cool and exciting. And I think we're going to see a lot of automation. We're seeing it already. But yeah, I think more automation is probably going to hit the cafes, and so I think they're sort of two things to watch in the industry at the moment.
Okay, automation. Maybe more geisha or less geisha in the competition? What do you think?
Good question. We always say it's moving away, but it keeps coming back, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just tastes so good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you inviting me on, and that's it's good to connect, and hopefully when I visit Indonesia, as well.
Anthony did visit Jakarta this year, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about with we've got a guy here. One of our roasters is from Indonesia.
Oh yeah. Zach.
Zach, yeah, you know Zach?
Yeah. I've met him before. Yeah.
Yeah. So he wants me to come over to Indonesia with him and maybe do some events and things. So, I'm gonna try and work it out, see if we can make it happen. So yeah, hopefully I'll be there soon.
Have you ever tasted an Indonesian coffee before?
I have. Yes.
Oh, any specific region that you like?
I can't remember. I haven't had a lot. But yeah, from what I've had, like it's a very unique profile, right? Indonesian coffee compared to the rest of the world. But Zach brings a lot back. So yeah,
Of course.
we had one the other day that was like a CM natural. I don't know what farm it was from, but yeah, super fruity. I'm like, yeah, this is like, it was a good coffee. So, but I need to try more for sure. I would love that. Cool. It's a really good question, because it's tough, because when I first started, I was really passionate, and I'd be trying to work every day I could to make coffee, and now I've been doing it for, I guess, over 10 years now. So it changes, but I think within my 10 years, I've changed my job role inside the coffee industry, which has kept it quite fresh. So I'm doing quality control and sales at the moment. I still do some barista shifts, but I'm not, a barista every single day. So I found for me, just like mixing it up and trying different aspects of the coffee industry really helps. Because, as much as I love making coffee, it can be hard doing it every day. So, I think that would be like the tip, is sort of just, try different job roles, stay engaged with, events happening. I think the coffee community is like worldwide is such an amazing community to be a part of. And I think we're very lucky to have it. So as engaged as we can be with this community, I think is key to sort of, making sure we still love coffee and we're still interested in that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jack.
Morris,
Goodbye.
guys.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. See you.
See ya.